Good morning, boys and girls. Today I'm going to read Elmer and the Wind by David McKee. I love how the illustrator, which in this book is also David McKee, he's the author and the illustrator. He wrote the words and he drew the pictures. Well, I love how when he was illustrating, he drew this bending down and he drew this with all of its leaves waving this way. It shows us wind. Wind is hard to draw. He did a great job. Elmer and the Wind. Elmer and the Wind by David McKee. It was a very, very windy day. Elmer, the patchwork elephant, was sheltering in a cave with his elephant friends, some birds, and Cousin Wilbur, who was playing tricks with his voice. The elephants laughed when Wilbur made his voice come from a hole at the back of the cave. "It's not a good day for flying," said a bird. "It's a good day to be a heavy elephant," chuckled Elmer. "An elephant can't be blown away." "I bet even you are afraid to go out in this wind, Elmer," said the bird. "Afraid?" said Elmer. "Watch this then. Come on, Wilbur." "Come back, don't be silly," called the elephants. But Elmer and Wilbur had already gone out into the wind. Once they were behind some trees and out of sight of the others, Elmer led the way into another cave. "You're up to something, Elmer," said Wilbur. "Yes," laughed Elmer. "Make your voice come from out there as if we were still walking away. Sound like me sometimes." "Oh, I get it," said Wilbur. His voice came from the distance, sounding like Elmer. "It's hard to move in this wind." Then, like himself, "Careful, Elmer. Hold on." The elephants heard the voices and started to worry. Wilbur called, "Hold on to something, Elmer. Look out." "Help!" came Elmer's voice. "Help! I'm flying!" Wilbur called, "Elmer! Come back, Elmer! Help! Oh, help, help!" "Elmer's being blown away. We must help," said an elephant. "If you go out, you'll be blown away too," said a bird. "Form a chain, trunks holding tails," said another elephant. They crept out of the cave, each elephant holding the tail of the elephant in front. So they're going to make a big chain of elephants so they can't fly away. "Look at them," said Elmer. "They do look funny." "Come back, you'll be blown away," called Wilbur. The elephants all started to speak at once, but because they were holding on with their trunks, their voices sounded very strange. "We've been fooled, the rotters. It's an Elmer and Wilbur trick." Then they backed out into the cave and looked funnier than ever. They had to walk backwards to get back into the cave. When they were safely back in the cave, Elmer and Wilbur returned as well. The elephants enjoyed the joke, but a bird said, "That was very silly, Elmer." "But really, bird," said Elmer, "an elephant can't be blown away. I'll walk to those trees and back and prove it." "Another trick," said an elephant as Elmer walked away. They watched as Elmer disappeared behind some trees. Then they heard Elmer's voice calling, "Help! I can't keep on the ground." The elephants laughed. "Very funny, Wilbur." The voice came again, "Help! I'm flying!" The elephants laughed louder than ever. "It's not me this time," said Wilbur. Oh no. Do you think it's true? Do you think he might have flown away? Do you think an elephant could get blown away? Why don't the elephants believe him? "Look," said a bird. "It isn't Wilbur." The elephants stared. There was Elmer above the trees. "What's he doing up there?" gasped an elephant. "It's called flying," said a bird. "Poor Elmer," said an elephant. He wasn't trying to trick him this time. This time he really was flying away. Oh, I wish Elmer and Wilbur had not been tricking them earlier. Earlier, they'd come up with a plan to save Elmer and Wilbur. This time, they didn't believe him because they didn't want to be tricked again. It's very important to tell the truth and not be tricking people and playing jokes on them, because they might not believe you when you really need them to believe you. Oh, I wonder what's going to happen. It's my ears, thought Elmer. They're acting as wings. Wilbur and the others seemed very small as he flew away. So Elmer thinks he might know what the problem is. He thinks his ears are acting like wings. This is really quite fun, thought Elmer after a while. He could see the other animals sheltering from the wind. They stared to see an elephant fly by. It's Elmer, said a lion. I expect he's up to another one of his tricks. Oh, so the other animals think that he's tricking them too. Is he up to another one of his tricks? At last the wind dropped and Elmer landed. Oh dear, he thought, it's going to be a long walk home. It serves me right for being so silly. So it's a consequence. When we do something, that's the action. What happens next because of it is called a consequence. Because he wanted to prove to the other elephants, he ended up flying away. And now he has a long walk back. That's the consequence. When the wind stopped, the birds flew off to find Elmer and help guide him home. Well, that was nice of them. Even though he had tricked them, they still wanted to help him. When at last the elephants saw the birds flying above the trees, they knew that Elmer was near. They rushed to meet him to hear about his adventure. You were wrong, Elmer, said the bird. An elephant can be blown away. You were wrong too, bird, laughed Elmer. It was a lovely day for flying. The end. Thank you for reading Elmer and the Wind with me. Keep in mind that when we play jokes on other people, or we stretch the truth and fib, and we say it's a joke, that sometimes later on, people have trouble believing us. Thank you so much for reading with me today.